Hello students, before this we have learned sign conventions to write the chemical reaction. What are the sign conventions to write the chemical reaction we have studied. So today we are going to study balanced chemical equation. What are the ways to balance the chemical equation, and in that different steps to balance the chemical equation we are going to study. So in that, first thing is there balanced or balancing chemical equation. Balancing chemical equation. So in that balancing chemical equation, how to balance that chemical equation? In that chemical equation, first thing is there you have to decide whether this equation is balanced or unbalanced. So for that one example we are going to learn, and that example is there. Before this also we have taken NaCl plus AgNO3, it gives AgCl plus NaNO3. So one example is there, NaCl plus AgNO3, it gives AgCl plus NaNO3. So name of this one is there sodium chloride. Name of this one is there silver nitrate. Silver nitrate. This one is there silver chloride. Silver chloride. And this one is there sodium nitrate. Sodium nitrate. If you will consider this equation, this is a chemical equation, and if you will consider this equation, in that you have to count number of atoms of the reactants and number of atoms of the products. So how many atoms are there in the reactor and how many atoms are there in the product of the same elements. So we will take one table, we will make this side, we will make table. Here element is there, here LHS number of atoms to the LHS, number of atoms to RHS. So like this way small table we are going to make, and in that table which elements are there, that one we are going to write. So first one is there sodium, second one is there, suppose you take chlorine, third one is there silver, fourth one is there nitrogen, and fifth one is there oxygen. So these are the atoms of the elements. Suppose you will in the LHS, if you will count number of atoms of sodium, so LHS only one is there, sodium 1, RHS sodium 1. So chlorine to the LHS chlorine 1, to the RHS chlorine is there 1. Again silver to the LHS Ag 1 is there, here also 1 is there. Again nitrogen to the LHS 1 is there, to the RHS also 1 is there. To the oxygen to the LHS 3 and to the RHS 3, so 3. If you will count number of atoms of that elements to the LHS and to the RHS, here in this chemical equation number of atoms of each elements to the RHS and to the LHS both are same or equal. So from this, such chemical equation is called as a balanced chemical equation. So next term is there balanced chemical equation. Balanced chemical equation. So what do you mean by balanced chemical equation? In that the chemical equation in which number of atoms of each element to the LHS are equal to the number of atoms of each element to the RHS. Suppose number of atoms of each element, sodium, chlorine, silver is there, nitrogen, oxygen, their atoms to the LHS are equal and their atoms to the RHS are also equal, or such chemical equation is called as a balanced chemical equation. So the chemical equation in which number of atoms of each element to the LHS and RHS are same or equal, then such chemical equation is called balanced chemical equation. The chemical equation in which number of atoms of each element to the LHS and to the RHS are same or equal, such chemical equation is called as a balanced chemical equation. So so next term is there unbalanced chemical equation. Next term is there unbalanced chemical equation. So in case of unbalanced chemical equation, just definition you have to change. The chemical equation in which number of atoms of each element to the LHS are not equal to the number of atoms of that elements to the RHS. If a number of atoms of each element to the LHS are not equal to the number of atoms to the of that elements to the RHS, then that chemical equation is called as an unbalanced chemical equation. So first step is there whether it is balanced or unbalanced, that one you have to decide. So one thing is there, always remember, it is given in the textbook, and in that always remember, you have to remember one thing. We have done law of conservation of mass. So in that law of conservation of mass, what is the law of conservation of mass? Number of atoms to the LHS and RHS are same. So the mass of reactant is equal to mass of the product. So total mass of the reactant is equal to total mass of the product. This is the law of conservation of mass. So next thing we are going to study, that one is the steps in balancing chemical equation. What are the steps to balance the chemical equation? Next point is there, what are the steps to balance the chemical equation? Steps in balancing chemical equation. So with the help of an example we are going to learn. In that first example and that one we have studied. So one example we are going to take. Example is there. In that example, word equation we are going to take sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid, and it gives sodium sulfate. So and a H2O molecule will be given. So example is there NaOH plus H2SO4. It gives Na2SO4 plus H2. Na2SO4 plus H2O. So in this NaOH, sodium hydroxide, here sulfuric acid, here sodium sulfate, and a water molecule. So in this you have to check first whether chemical equation is balanced or unbalanced. So how you are going to check? You have to make one table, small table, and then you have to decide whether it is balanced or unbalanced. Step number first is there, write the chemical equation. Whatever chemical equation is given, that one you have to write. So first thing is we are going to write NaOH plus H2SO4, it gives Na2SO4 plus H2O. So firstly we have written this chemical equation. Second step is there, In the second step, you have to decide whether this chemical equation is balanced or unbalanced. So checking balanced or unbalanced. You have to decide whether it is balanced or unbalanced. For that you have to make one table. In that first column is their element, second column is their number of atoms to LHS, and here number of atoms to RHS. And if you make table like this way, you have to check. So here which atoms are there? First one is their sodium, second one is their oxygen, then hydrogen, then sulfur, and then oxygen. How many atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 atoms are there. 5 elements are there. So sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur. Okay, 4 atoms are there. So in this, how many sodium are there to the LHS? Sodium, how many are there? 1. To the RHS, 2. How many oxygen are there? Here 1 plus 4, it is 5. Here 4 plus 1, 5. So hydrogen, how many are there? 2 plus 1, 3. Here how many are there? 2. After that, sulfur, how many are there? 1. There is also 1. There is also 1. So here if you check each atom to the LHS and to the RHS, then here sodium to the LHS 1 is there, to the RHS 2 is there, oxygen 5, 5, hydrogen 3, 2, and sulfur 1, 1. So here all the number of atoms of each element to the LHS and RHS are not equal, so this chemical equation is unbalanced. So this chemical equation is unbalanced. So what to do for balancing? Next step is there. Step number 3. In the step number 3, you have to choose such atoms which will be balanced easily, and you have to choose the atoms from the molecule which is having more number of atoms. Here you can choose NaOH or H2SO4, NaOH or H2SO4, and here it is convenient to balance the sodium because here 2 is there and here 1 is there. So next thing is that multiplying sodium of LHS by 2. You have to multiply sodium of LHS by 2. Here you have to multiply. So you have to write the chemical equation. So twice NaOH plus H2SO4, it gives Na2SO4 plus H2. So here number of atoms of sodium to the LHS and RHS are equal. Now you have to check in this step is lengthy. So you have to check this whether this chemical equation is balanced or unbalanced. Here checking again. In that checking, this chemical equation you have to check. So element, number of atoms to LHS, number of atoms to RHS, you have to check. So checking in that sodium is there, oxygen is there, hydrogen is there, and sulfur is there. Sodium to the LHS 2, to the RHS 2, oxygen 2 plus 4 6, here 4 plus 1 5. After this hydrogen 2 plus 2 4, here only 2. Sulfur this side 1 and that side also 1. So here next atom is there, hydrogen you can balance. For balancing hydrogen, what you have to do to the RHS, this hydrogen to the RHS you have to multiply by 2, then its number will become equal. So next step is there, step number 4, multiplying hydrogen of H2 by 2 by the factor 2. So chemical equation will become twice NaOH plus H2SO4, it gives Na2SO4 plus twice H2, twice H2. So this chemical equation again you have to check, here again you have to check. So in this you are going to make columns. So element, number of atoms to the LHS, number of atoms to the RHS. So in this, suppose here sodium is there, oxygen is there, hydrogen is sulfur. How many sodium are there? Here 2, here 2. So 2, 2. After that, oxygen how many? 2 plus 2, 2 plus 4, 6. 4 plus 2, 6. Then hydrogen, here 2, here 2, 4. 2 to are 4. And sulfur, here 1, there 1. So in this chemical equation, you can see number of atoms of sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur to the LHS are there and to the RHS are same. So this chemical equation is balanced. So last step is there. What is the last step? Step number 5 will be there, and in that step number 5 you have to write that balanced chemical equation, and then your all steps will get completed. So which steps we have followed, that one more time we'll take. Given chemical equation you have to write as it is. Second thing is there, step first. In the step first, the given chemical equation you have to write as it is. Suppose it is given word equation, you have to write in chemical equation. Then after that, second step is there, you have to check whether chemical equation is given chemical equation is balanced or unbalanced. For balance and unbalancing, you have to make one table. Element, number of atoms of that element to the LHS, number of atoms of that element to the RHS. Then sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur, and their numbers. Sodium 1, this side sodium 2. Oxygen this side 5, that side also 5. Hydrogen 3, hydrogen 2. Sulfur 1, sulfur 1. So in the third step, you have to multiply sodium of NaOH. Sodium of this NaOH by 2. So you are multiplying here twice NaOH plus H2SO4, it gives Na2SO4 plus H2. And by checking, it will check sodium are 2, 2, oxygen 6, 5, hydrogen 4, 2, and sulfur 1, 1. So just you have to multiply here by 2, then it will become 4. So that step you are going, and in the fourth step you are going to multiplying hydrogen of H2O by 2 by the factor 2, then twice NaOH plus H2SO4, it gives Na2SO4 plus twice H2O. So, and after this you will check sodium 2, 2, oxygen 6, 6, hydrogen 4, 4, and the sulfur 1, 1. Then this chemical equation is balanced. And last step is there. In that step you can write what is the last step. That last step is there, step number 5, writing balanced chemical equation. So in that, how will you write? Twice NaOH plus H2SO4 sulfuric acid, it gives Na2SO4 plus H2O twice H2O, and this is a balanced chemical equation. This is balanced chemical equation. Why it is balanced chemical equation? Because number of atoms to the LHS and number of atoms to the RHS are same. So next point we are going to study, and in that use your brain power is given, and in that some questions are asked. Use your brain power. In that one example is there. First example is there, N2 plus H2, nitrogen plus hydrogen, and it gives NH3, ammonia. That example we are going to take. Example is there. Example next, N2 plus H2, and it gives NH3. And this one you have to write. So N2 plus H2, and state, physical states are given here: gaseous, here gaseous, and here also gaseous. Just you have to write steps to balance the chemical equation. This one also will learn. So first step number first, you have to write given chemical equation as it is. So writing chemical equation. Writing chemical equation. So N2 gaseous plus H2 gaseous, it gives NH3 gaseous. Second step is there to decide whether chemical equation is balanced or unbalanced. Deciding balanced or unbalanced. So this chemical equation you are going to check. How will you decide? In that element, number of atoms to LHS, number of atoms to RHS. So which atoms are there? N2 is there, nitrogen is there, and another atom is there, hydrogen element. So nitrogen here 2, this side 1, here hydrogen 2, this side 3. So this chemical equation is very easy to balance. So in that, just you have to multiply nitrogen of RHS by 2, nitrogen of RHS by 2. Here step number 3, multiplying or multiply nitrogen of NH3 by 2. So if you will multiply there, then it will become N2 plus H2, both are gaseous, it will get converted to twice NH3. Twice NH3. This one is also gaseous. So after this also you have to check whether this chemical equation is balanced or unbalanced. Step number 4 is there, checking. So in that checking, again table you have to make. So element, number of atoms to LHS, number of atoms to RHS, nitrogen is there, hydrogen is there. In this chemical equation, nitrogen 2, this side nitrogen 2, this side hydrogen 2, this side hydrogen 2 3s are 6, 2 3s are 6. So one thing you can do here, it is easy to balance hydrogen now. Hydrogen this side 2 are there, that side 3 or 6 are there. So you can make 6 here by multiplying by 3. So next step is the step number 5, multiply hydrogen of LHS by 2, by the factor 2. So equation will become N2 plus H2 thrice H2, it gives twice NH3, gaseous, gaseous, gaseous. After this also you have to check whether it is balanced or unbalanced. So checking, here element, here number of atoms, LHS, number of atoms, RHS, then nitrogen, hydrogen, nitrogen 2, 3 2s are 6, hydrogen, here 2 3s are 6. So number of atoms of nitrogen and hydrogen to the LHS and RHS become equal, and from that therefore above chemical equation is balanced. Why? Number of atoms to the LHS and RHS is same. So last step is there, step number 6 is there, writing balanced chemical equation. So N2 plus H2 gaseous thrice H2, it gives twice NH3 gaseous. This is balanced chemical equation. After this, next question is there. So second question is there, in that you have to write balanced chemical equation. One example is given and you have to write balanced chemical equation, and in that calcium chloride plus sulfuric acid, this example is there. After this, from use your brain power, next second question is there, calcium chloride plus sulfuric acid, word equation is given and you have to write balanced chemical equation. Second one is there, calcium chloride plus sulfuric acid, and it gives calcium sulfate plus calcium sulfate and plus hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride. So it will give hydrochloric acid. So this chemical word equation is given, we have to write chemical equation. So calcium chloride CaCl2 plus sulfuric acid H2SO4, and it gives calcium sulfate CaSO4 plus remaining HCl, here 2, here 2, so twice HCl, 2 hydrogen, that's why you have to multiply here by twice HCl. So Ca1 calcium 2 Ca1 calcium 1 chlorine 2 hydrogen 2 sulfur 1 SO4. So this is chemical equation and which is balanced. So here solid, okay, you will take an aqueous solution, here also aqueous, and here also it will be aqueous states. So next third question is there, and in that third question you have to write physical states of the two reactions. In that SO2 plus H2S. Okay. Question number 3 is there. Write physical states. Write physical states of the following reactions. So first reaction is there, SO2 plus H2S, it gives S plus sulfur plus H2, So given thrice yes, or you have to write thrice yes is given. Okay, so what you can do in that SO2, okay, wait, thrice yes, and here hydrogen, how many are there? 2 are there. Here hydrogen 2, and here sulfur 1. So one thing you can do, twice S2, twice S2S, you will write twice S2. So this chemical equation will be balanced. Now sulfur 1 plus 2 3, so oxygen 2 2O, and hydrogen 2 to the 4, 2 to the 4. So this chemical equation is balanced, and state is there gaseous, here also gaseous, this one is solid state, this one is liquid state. So this is chemical equation. In the textbook balanced chemical equation is not given, just you have to write the states, but you can balance it. So next example is there Ag plus HCl. So second one is there, suppose you will give here A, here you will give B. Ag, silver plus HCl, it gives AgCl plus H2 gas, plus H2 gas. Chemical equation is not balanced, but for H2 you are multiply here by 2, and for Cl you are multiply here twice Ag. So silver plus HCl, it gives AgCl, silver chloride plus H2 gas. So this one is solid state, this one is liquid state. You can take aqueous also. This one is there aqueous, and this one will be PPT, and it will be white PPT. It will be white PPT, and this one will be gaseous state. Insoluble mass is the PPT. So then in this chemical reaction, first one is there SO2, sulfur dioxide plus H2S, hydrogen sulfide, it gives sulfur plus H2O. Here and here gaseous, solid and liquid. Here Ag, silver plus HCl, hydrochloric acid, it gives AgCl, silver chloride plus H2 gas. So solid, then aqueous, precipitate is there, and gaseous state is there. So after this we are going to study next point, and in that next point we are going to study types of the chemical reactions. Types of the chemical reactions. So which are the types of the chemical reaction? There are 4 types of the chemical reaction, and that 4 types are there. First one is their combination, second one is their decomposition, third one is their displacement, and fourth one is their double displacement. With the help of example we are